So Josh Balk serves as the Eastern Iowa Basin Coordinator for the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. He has been involved with water quality and soil health efforts in the state for 6 years. Mr. Balk received a BA in Earth Science from the University of Northern Iowa. The Iowa DNR partners with many individuals, communities, government entities, and organizations to align with their vision, leading Iowans in caring for our natural resources. This involves a multifaceted approach focusing on improving habitat, protecting water quality, improving soil health, and mitigating flood impacts. There are many diverse programs and assistance offered by the DNR to reach these goals, as will be discussed. So thanks so much, Josh.
So yes, I greatly appreciate the opportunity to come and speak with you today. So, as Cassie kind of set up for me, the DNR, we have diverse staff members and entities and groups we partner with to get conservation on the land to protect our natural resources. So with that, that involves working with lots of different groups, and so I'm going to highlight the various ways the DNR is supporting these efforts. So not all these might be applicable to you as an individual, but this opens up opportunities to get involved with your local municipality, with your county conservation boards, or other groups and entities in your community, all in the name of conservation. So I guess a few of the programs I'll be talking about today just highlight the financial incentives the DNR is offering groups throughout the state. And so these first couple slides just kind of show off all the different ways. But if you're interested specifically about any one of these, you can check out that web link on the bottom there, iowdnr.gov, about DNR and grants and other funding. So kind of diving into these various programs, the first one I was going to highlight is our lake restoration program. Here in Iowa, outdoor recreation is an important aspect for not only us as individual citizens going out and enjoying, but creating tourism, supporting the local economies. And this is a multi-billion-dollar element for our state, and so helping ensure that our local lakes are supporting that use is very important. And so we have elements that we utilize to try and improve the water quality in our state, because we realize that not all of them are living up to their potential there. And so this is a lot of different ways we can utilize that. Working with communities, working with county conservation boards and groups like that to try and implement. So this was a program that is funded through the state legislature. And really we take a scientific-based approach, looking at our state lakes and collecting data and then implementing conservation. So that way they can be used for our citizens and for folks visiting us. And so here's a map of the various projects that are either active or have been implemented throughout the state here. And so you can see this is a widespread program that's utilized all over the state, and quite a few that are currently active right now. And this has been in place since 2007. So over the last 13 years, we have received quite a bit of funding to do this. This last year was close to $10 million in funding. And like I said, those funds are utilized to enhance our lakes and help ensure they're reaching their goals. So there's lots of different conservation elements that can be done to do that, whether it's managing aquatic plant species, sometimes involving dredging. There's quite a few different elements there. And highlighting a couple in Scott County, we have the Lake of the Hills and Lost Grove Lake are a couple active ones going on there right now that are utilizing this program. Another program I'd like to highlight is REAP, Resource Enhancement and Protection. So this is another one that is funded through the state legislature. We receive an annual allocation each year. The goal is 20 million, but I would say some years that deviates. And this last year we're looking at approximately 12 million. But the great thing about this was a program that was set to sunset last year, and has been extended for additional 2 years. So that's great, we have that. But these are also ways that you can get involved as an individual by getting a REAP license plate, and those funds can help contribute to conservation here in the state. And the REAP program is a diverse partnership. It does involve several departments here in the state, including the DNR. And because each one of these groups brings their own element to the table. And so because this is a diverse program, focusing not only on conservation, but also recreation and education, that's why we need those diverse partnerships. And you kind of see in that bottom right-hand corner how that annual allocation each year is kind of distributed through the various programs. So the 3 that DNR are involved with are starred there: the conservation education, city parks and open space, and county conservation. We'll go ahead and dive into that. But if you're looking for more information, make sure to hop on the REAP page at the DNR website, and you can get connected with all these. So the conservation education program really seeks to involve our youth and find creative and innovative ways to get them out recreating in our natural areas. And so these are large education grants that can go and help community and groups involved targeting that conservation education. And like I said, these are we're looking for creative opportunities for that. So there's a couple deadlines, a couple opportunities each year to apply for these funds. So you would have just missed the November 1st one, but there'll be upcoming ones. And then there's also mini grants for smaller education opportunities. And like I said, the goal is really getting our youth active and involved. So these educational opportunities are as widespread as folks are creative with that. And so, like I said, we just kind of missed one of the deadlines here, but the next one will be coming up here shortly. So you can go ahead and get connected with resources at the conservation education link there on the bottom of the page. So another element of the REAP program is our city parks and open spaces. So these are funds that are utilized by cities. And it's because we have such a diverse range of cities here in the state, we do break these down into 3 different categories based on the size of the city. So that way we can try and help diverse communities in their recreational goals. And really these are allowed to try and enhance existing outdoor recreation use. So, you can't just build a golf course with these funds, but you can find ways to enhance existing funds. So sometimes that's utilized with stormwater management practices like Amy was talking about earlier here, or different opportunities as well. And I guess the great thing about this program is these grants are 100%. There isn't a match requirement. So that is definitely a positive thing for many communities. And so if you're not working for a city, you can still work with your city, inform them of areas of concerns you have or ideas you have for enhancing existing city parks. And I was saying these funds can be available for communities for that. And so these are annual grant applications that the city would then submit. And there are partnerships involved to make that happen, and the DNR is happy to support those. And so these are usually in the August timeframe when those applications are due. But talked earlier about how those populations are broken down into 3 categories. You can kind of see on these couple tables here how that works out and kind of the caps we have for the grant funds. And like I said, the goal is really to help get the funds out there to our diverse communities. And as you can see on this map here, it is widely utilized throughout the state. through various communities. And if we zoom into Scott County, you can kind of see each one of those little reap birds represents a project that was implemented in the county. And another element of the REAP program is county conservation. So like I said, if you're not a county or work for the county, this might not be as applicable to you directly, but this is informational. So that way, as a private citizen, if you are out in your county areas, going to your county parks, you can talk with the staff people out there, find out ways that they are utilizing these funds, or if you have ideas of how to enhance a county park, you can have that discussion with them, because yep, they're all there for our use and enjoyment. And so really the county conservation element of the REAP fund is just to help improve county land, to implement conservation, improve facilities, and these funds are automatically out. There's a portion that's automatically allocated each year for those county improvements. But then there's also competitive grants that are out there as well. And so these are also applied for each year, usually in August. And, you know, just for reference, this last year, you know, we had approximately $1 million that went towards these funds and helped fund 4 projects throughout the state. Focusing on wildlife, you know, that's an important component, not only for recreation, but then supporting conservation here in the state. And so the DNR does have a couple different programs that they support, habitat management grant as well as small grants. So these are ones that can go with county conservation boards, but also opens it up for sportsmen's groups and outdoor groups like that. And so these have annual opportunities of grant funding, requests for proposals. Like I said, there's the small one that is for more targeted, smaller requests of funds that can be utilized. And really the goal is to just try and help and improve and enhance wildlife opportunities here in the state. Along with that, there's also wildlife habitat promotion. So this is an element of conservation, working with county conservation boards to enhance hiking, fishing, those kind of elements, hunting and trapping. And so these can be utilized for tree plantings, for grass seedings, for tree timber improvements, as well as more structural practices like dams and fencing off of livestock to enhance wildlife habitat. And so these are, there's also an element of land acquisition that can be utilized for that. And because you have, you know, enhancing habitat, helping protect natural areas is a great way to also provide that habitat for local wildlife as well. Fishing is an important outdoor recreation opportunity. So there's also a fish habitat program, working with county conservation boards to provide and improve habitat for our fish species that's also available out there. And so these can be structural practices. This can involve dredging, land acquisition, kind of similar to that wildlife as well. So focusing more on our recreational opportunities, water trails are an important element here in our state, and there's a lot of low-head dams here that can maybe reduce the accessibility to water trails. So the DNR does have a program for low-head dam removal to enhance water trails. So this is a way that citizens can get out and enjoy, but also communities can get involved if they have areas of concerns. But then there's also the water trail enhancement grants. And so these focus specifically on creating or enhancing existing water trails to improve access, to do a diverse, different diverse opportunities for those water trails. There's also the Water Recreation Access program out there. And so these are opportunities, like I said, to continue that water trail enhancement there. So this just kind of highlights what those funds can be utilized for. And like I said, you maybe as an individual might not be as applicable to you, but these are still ways you can have discussions with your local municipality, county, conservation, and identify ways that these are being utilized, or if you have ideas for how they can be utilized, having those discussions. Another element DNR supports is the program for land and water conservation funds. So these are targeted specifically at outdoor recreation. So these are ones where, yes, you can look at skate parks and playgrounds, and these funds can go towards that, campgrounds and those kind of enhancements. And this program is utilized throughout the entire state. These are competitive grants as well. And like I said, this also kind of just highlights when those grant applications are due. But yes, like I said, kind of shifting gears here a bit. Water quality is an important aspect here in our state and something the DNR largely supports. So there is a water quality improvement program focusing on targeted watersheds in the state. So right now we had 11 active watershed projects. And we will note kind of in the right corner there, Duck Creek was a successful watershed improvement project that the DNR funded that has now gone on. And so these are fun. This is a program where we receive funds from the EPA each year, and really the goal is to address water quality impairment. So this is working with the local soil and water conservation district, multiple entities like the NRCS, Department of Agriculture, and the DNR helps supply these funds as well as offer technical assistance for watershed groups here. So we do take new programs, new watershed projects can be funded. This would really involve working with your local soil and water conservation district and identifying a local water resource that is impaired and of concern. And then where the DNR helps provide that support for creating a watershed plan, going after grant funding, and making an active watershed management project go through. And so, like I said, these come through each year. There is funding available for those. And kind of focusing on the larger scale, we have our watershed management authorities here in the state. Right now we have 26 active WMAs. And so these focus on pulling together many communities and entities, county conservation boards, board of supervisors, cities, soil and water conservation districts, and trying to bring everyone to the table. It takes all of us coming together to address flooding issues as well as water quality improvements. And so there are grant funds available through the DNR to help develop a watershed management authority plans. We have one that is due tomorrow, so I don't anticipate anyone maybe on the call trying to stay up late to get one put together, but this is an annual allocation the DNR provides to help with that water quality goal here in our state. I'll maybe just highlight, I know Andy kind of talked about the state revolving fund and the sponsored projects. Well, there's also an element to that that DNR is involved with the drinking water state revolving fund and the clean water state revolving fund. And really the goal of these are to work with municipalities as well as smaller entities to try and help protect our water treatment facilities. So there's loans available, but I will highlight that through the state revolving fund, there are also low interest loans for individuals looking at stormwater management practices that are involved. And so I was Amy kind of already talked about the sponsored projects. So I may just kind of skip through my slides there and try and wrap things up. Stepping away from the DNR programs to highlight Oxbow wetland restorations. This was a project that Cassie and I talked about I just wanted to highlight real quick here. So Oxbow wetlands, their element that's kind of brought about just through natural stream progression changes. Over time, streams get more meandered, and as they do that, they end up cutting off from the stream itself. And so these are areas where you can come back in, create wetland habitat, and kind of restore opportunity. And so this provides flood mitigation as well as reducing nutrients in our stream. And the great thing is, because we're kind of trying to utilize the existing natural area, these are often very low cost. It's mainly just a little bit of excavation and then some seeding on top of that. So these are a great way to help Iowa reach our nutrient reduction goals, as well as help communities that are dealing with flooding impacts. And so here's kind of an infographic just showing off that natural stream progression I was talking about. You know, streams, as they get more and more meandered, they have a tendency to cut off from the stream. But then because the stream wants to flow in a straight line where possible, that does kind of get cut off and left behind. So that bottom right corner is kind of what the Oxbow is. And over time, that might fill with sediment, that might be disutilized by the stream. So coming back in and restoring it is a great opportunity. And because, yep, we get, like I said, not only the flooding impacts, but our water quality benefits as well with that. You know, it's a great opportunity for overflow storage, but then can reduce sedimentation and nutrients as well. So here in Cedar Falls, there was a partnership between the NRCS and Nature Conservancy to restore an Oxbow wetland on Dry Run Creek. And so this was a small wetland project, you know, only about 14,000 square feet. But even a small wetland like that has a tremendous opportunity to reduce sediments and nutrients. And so if you're looking at an aerial view of Dry Run Creek, this is what you'd look at. And if anyone can point out where the Oxbow is, you'll get $1, because this was well before the Oxbow was done. But utilizing some mapping data, some LiDAR data, we were able to identify that there was indeed an Oxbow scar left on the stream. So if you kind of just zoom back, you can't really see it because, yep, there's trees and shrubs there. But with the LiDAR, we were able to identify that. And so this is after post-construction, came through, excavated that out, and then created that wetland opportunity. And so working with the city, wanted to try and raise awareness for this. This was in a highly visible location near the University of Northern Iowa. And so utilizing their story map, we highlighted some of these conservation opportunities, including this Oxbow restoration. And we'll note that there is funding in the state for Oxbow restorations. The Iowa Department of Agriculture Land Stewardship is now offering 50% cost share because they recognize the benefits this can have towards the nutrient reduction strategy. But then in targeted areas under the Iowa Watershed approach, there is funding available for those. All right, well, like I said, I know that was intense and a crash course in the various programs that the DNR is providing to implement conservation here in the state. Like I said, if you would like more information on any of those programs, be sure to hop over to the DNR website. You can just do a Google search for Iowa DNR grants, and you'll get directly linked to that page and see all the different ways that you can get involved. So happy to take any questions.
All right, thanks, Josh. We do have a couple questions. I also wanted to mention in regards to Oxbow Lake restorations, if anyone's interested in learning more about that, you can go to the Partners of Scott County Watersheds website, partnersofscottcountywatersheds.org. If you click on the Watershed button, there's an Oxbow Lake restoration page that gives you more information about Oxbow Lake restoration, as well as a map of former Oxbows in Scott County. So if you want to see if there's one near you that can possibly be restored, you can check it out there. Okay, so Question for Josh. Adriana said you mentioned getting youth out to natural areas. Can you define what that means?
Okay, so I'm assuming you're referring to the REAP and the Conservation Education Program. So that's difficult to say. I mean, you know, because there is so many different ways you can get them out. You know, there's field trips to natural areas, there's canoeing trips, kayaking trips. So like I said, so those REAP funds can be utilized for diverse ways, as long as there's a conservation education element to it. So yeah, like I said, if you go to the REAP page on the DNR website, you can see a list of projects that have been funded in the past, and that can help spur ideas for ways to utilize them yourself if you see some other ways, or you can work closely with your DNR officers and try and work your way through that as well. So.
Okay, thank you. Kay asked, if we apply for a wildlife habitat grant, would our land need to be available for public hunting?
So there are a few different wildlife programs, and I know some of them do have that requirement, but not all of them do. So that's one where you can work with your DNR field office to try and identify that. But otherwise, going to that grants page on the DNR website, you'll get linked. Like I said, there are a couple different wildlife programs, and you can kind of see maybe which one might be more applicable to you. But otherwise, reaching out to your field office, they can work with you as well in identifying that.